Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 11th episode of Fantasy Sports. Today, I'm joined with my good friend Al Mosca. Al, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up? My name's Al. I'm a student at JMU, and I went to high school at Luke.
Al was previously a pitcher before tragically injuring his right shoulder, and I know now that you
My
can't
left
play
shoulder.
a left shoulder. My fault. My apologies. And obviously, fall from grace. He was a top prospect. I remember, and now he cannot play. Definitely sad to hear. But today we're going to be talking about some baseball. I'm going to start with teams that are performing well. We'll talk about the top three teams right now that we both think are the top three teams in MLB. And then we're going to go with NL and National League and American League MVPs, front runners, maybe a sleeper. But I'm going to start with my top team in the MLB right now. My top team in the MLB is the New York Yankees. They started 5-5. They're 18-7, or maybe they're not 18-7. That's the last time I have written down that they were 18. I have 18.
They are 18-7. I'm looking at it right
18-7.
now.
I mean, Judge and Rizzo are just going nuts. I mean, their infielders are playing great, and Garrett Cole. I mean, he seems to be finding his footing after having a couple shaky outings. Who's your number one?
I also have the Yankees, and
Okay.
I like what you said about Garrett Cole and Judge and Rizzo, but also they're a much more different team than last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're a lot faster. Their defense is way better. Like I was looking at stats earlier. I think they're seventh in stolen bases. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're stealing bases a lot. Their rotation is way better than I thought it would be. Even though Cole hasn't been great, like their back end of the rotation is way better than I thought it would be. Like obviously, I don't think anyone thought Nestor Cortez would be as good as he is right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say the rotation with Jameson, Italian, Jordan Montgomery, I had Nestor Cortez, and Luis Severino. I don't know if I said those names right. They picked up some slack. I had them four being really good in the rotation, and it's great that you mentioned Nestor Cortez being very, very good.
And their bullpens also, I think the best in the league. Like their bullpen's just insane. They probably have four guys that could close on other teams that they have just coming right after the starter. And their starters have been giving them innings. I mean, Nestor yesterday only went four, but most of the time they'll get like 5-6 innings. So everyone's fresh, and it's fun to watch as a Yankees fan.
I definitely have to agree. You're a Yankees fan?
I am a Yankees fan.
I did not know that. I should have asked you that. It's my fault. My second team is the Dodgers. I had them at 1, I think, going into the season, or maybe I didn't. I don't really remember.
I literally thought their team would be the NL All-Star team coming in the season. Like I thought they'd be the best by far.
No doubt. And I have them at 2. I mean, they're still really good. They're 16-7. I mean, I have them as right up there with the Mets. I had the Mets as my third, but I had the Dodgers right ahead of them. They just haven't hit their stride yet. Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, Justin Turner, and Max Muncy, who usually make up the top 6 spots in the lineups, have all struggled at a time where offense is like at an all-time low. And yet the Dodgers still possess the highest run differential in the majors. But the thing is, I had said this in my last podcast that Trey Turner, I had him as number one in my number one fantasy player, and he's not been playing what I expected him to do this season.
Yeah, I have the Dodgers at 2 also, and I think their lineup is still insanely stacked, especially with now they have Freddie Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's shocked that Mookie Betts isn't playing as well. I think since that one season where he won the MVP, he's been kind of overrated. He's still a top player in the MLB, but I just don't think he's as good as everyone expects him to be.
Who's the other person on their team that was a MVP that's not good anymore?
That's not good anymore. I know Freddie
Or
Freeman
not
was
good,
MVP.
but damn, I'm really forgetting his team. There's this guy on TikTok who's not a big fan of him, and he posts him all the time. I cannot remember his name. I'll remember his name later, but it's just frustrating. Yeah, I think Dodgers are 2. I mean, the pitching has pretty much carried them, to say the least. I mean, obviously they have a great lineup, but they have not been.
Bellinger is who you're thinking of. I
Yes,
totally forgot
Bellinger.
about Bellinger.
Yes, Bellinger. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
he's not
I've
doing
seen the
too
dude
hot.
on TikTok hating Cody Bellinger so
That guy,
much. It's
Bellinger gets a lot of hate.
Yeah, no, he was an MVP though, right? Am I wrong?
He was an MVP.
Yeah, no, and he gets a lot of hate because he's been really bad. He's been bad for like 2 seasons now, right?
He was pretty bad last season, and I thought he was like starting to turn it around this season, and then I like stopped hearing about him.
Yeah.
And I just pulled up their team stats, and he's not doing too hot at all.
Yeah.
He's barely hitting over 200.
That's funny. Yeah, that's my second team. They're still good. I mean, maybe they'll turn things around on offense. I mean, as I said, they still have the highest run differential in the entire league. Maybe they'll turn around on offense. And then for number 3, it was close with the Giants. Giants have a pretty bad record. But I mean, obviously the Mets have been really, really good. You know, they have Travis Janikowski, who's been playing very, very good, and Robinson Cano. I'm pretty sure they just what I have written down is he designated Robinson Cano for assignment, and he was 8 for 41 with 1 home run. So he was playing awful. I had to wonder. I wrote that down because I wonder how good they would have been with someone else other than Robinson Cano at their team hitting at a better rate other than the sub 200.
I know, and they also owe him, I'm pretty sure, $40 million. Even
Yeah,
though
no, he still has one of the biggest contracts. Yeah, it's funny. Because I also have written down Cano. I said I wrote that maybe another team could give Cano maybe a chance, which I do see happening. I do see a team picking him up, but it's just funny seeing someone like that fall from like being like not like a fall from grace, I would say, because I mean he was one of the most talked about players. I remember I forget what team he signed that huge contract, which was the Mariners.
I think it was the Mariners, yeah.
Yeah, he signed that huge contract, and then I kind of stopped hearing about him. And obviously had 2 PD suspensions, so I think his career is pretty much over. If another team picks him up, I
pretty
don't
much
think he'll
been
be good.
washed for a little bit now. I feel like I don't really follow the Mets that hard, but I feel like he hasn't been doing much.
And yeah, that's I mean, obviously Jeff McNeil has been playing really good. But that's all I really had for the New York Mets. They've been playing very, very good. They're
I think
18 and 9.
above the Mets. Oh, sorry. I think above the Mets, I'm torn between the Brewers and the Padres. The Brewers have an insane rotation, which I just think is so cool because like they've got Burns, who's insane, and then they've got what's the other dude's name? There's another guy they got that's like top 10. Woodruff is another top 10 pitcher, and then Freddie Peralta is another top guy, and then they've got Lauer also. Those guys are all just so good, and they're just carrying that team. And then the Padres just have that lineup. Like Hosmer's kind of gone off, and no one really expected that. And then Manny Machado might win MVP.
It's so funny that you say that. Actually, all right, let's get into MVP now. Yeah, I had actually the Padres at 5. I'm not gonna lie, the Padres at 5.
It's tough between, for me, the Padres, Brewers, and Mets for those next 3.
I can see that. Also, it sucks that the Blue Jays have kind of been. I mean, they've been playing 16-10. I don't want to say they're bad, but
they've had a rough schedule. They're still a really good team, and Bo Bichette's kind of inconsistent. He had a pretty good. The last game against the Yankees was pretty good. I watched the 3 games against the Yankees, and they've played all right. Besides that one game, they just fell apart, and like their spirits just got crushed so quick.
Yeah. So
I think they'll pick it up. They've had a really tough schedule. I think over the course of the season, they'll become a lot better.
Yes, I do agree. I'm gonna start with national. Well, yeah, we'll head over to MVPs. In the National League MVPs, I had Manny Machado and Nolan Arenado as the 2 front runners. I mean, I have Machado as like my favorite pick. I mean, he's talented enough to play like he's playing all year. And if the Padres can hang around where they're like in contention, I wouldn't be shocked if he were to win National League MVP.
I wouldn't be shocked either. I would also, right now, it's very early, but right now he's definitely the front runner. And Soto's not really in the race right now, but I could still see him coming out and doing pretty well. Like he's still having a pretty solid season.
Yeah, Juan Soto, on what I have written down, Juan Soto is the favorite, sitting at betting as number 1. And then Ronald Acuna Jr. is second, even though he's barely played.
Yeah, I was gonna say Acuna, but did he just come back or is about to come back?
I actually don't know. Let me look.
I think he just came back, so I didn't think he would have. I mean, it's still early, but I didn't think he would have enough games.
Yeah, no, he's playing. He stole 2 bases. What the top thing as him says is Ronald Acuna steals 2 bases in the win over the Cubs. I actually did not know that he was back.
I think he literally just came back. I don't think he'll have enough games, and he'll have to go off the second half.
Yeah, no, definitely. And
I
Manny
think
Machado
Soto
is,
could still creep in.
yeah, Manny Machado is killing it right now. I think I mentioned in my podcast on Tuesday that he was top 3, maybe top 2 in his position of fantasy. Obviously, that doesn't really matter in fantasy in MVP voting terms, but just to give an example of how good he's playing this year. And then I have a long shot pick. I would throw that in there. I had a Kissholm. Kissholm. I don't know how to say his name. I pulled up the stats
What's
on
his
him.
name?
Kissholm. Let me look at this. Let me look.
Maybe I'd know it if I.
He's on the
heard it.
Marlins.
I don't know any. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know.
He's their
I
best
haven't watched
offensive
any of the
player.
Marlins.
I looked at all like the teams
Oh, is it
MVPs.
Jazz? Is it Jazz? Is his first
might
name?
be.
That dude's been going off. The MLB talks about
Yeah,
him
no,
all the
it is
time.
Jazz Kissholm. Yeah. I looked at all the top teams MVPs or like best players this season. And he is on the Miami Marlins, and he has been having a really good offensive season.
Yeah, he's
Obviously the
been going
Marlins,
off.
maybe the Marlins wouldn't be the best team to, put him on the map for MVP, but it's a long shot pick.
I mean, for baseball, I don't think wins and stuff matters as much for MVP as like football or basketball do.
Yeah.
Like, because Trout wins it like every year, and the Angels are usually, besides this year, they're usually not that good. So he could still do it.
And then we'll talk about American League MVP. Obviously, Mike Trout. And then honestly, I mean, I have Mike Trout as a front runner, but as like I don't know, it's like 1A, 1B, 1C. I have Mike Trout, Jose Ramirez, and Aaron Judge.
I really want Aaron Judge to win it. I don't think he will. I would bet on Trout just because Trout's been the best player in baseball for like 10 plus years. And this was the year I was looking at a lot of projections and stuff. I thought Shohei would run away with it, but he's not doing as well. Even though he pitched a really good game like yesterday.
Yeah, he's had a slight slow start.
Yeah, he's had not as hot a start as I thought, but I thought Shohei would win it before the season started. But I think Trout's gonna do it because people like he's been injured and he hasn't played a lot recently. Now that he's healthy and he's playing, he's just clearly the best player in baseball. And I think you're right with the Ramirez and Judge right behind him. I've been watching so much Aaron Judge because I'm a Yankees fan. I really want him to win it because he's playing so well. And they could even they stick him in center and he still does well in center. Like he's actually more athletic than people think. Like he's got a great arm. It's not just the hitting. And I don't think he's striking out as much as he used to. Like I've seen some great at-bats out of him. He hit a home run 2 days ago. And he was just fouling off pitches. He was taking so many good pitches. After I forget the Blue Jays pitcher's name, but he was tearing up the Yankees lineup. And Judge, his third time around, just put together a great at bat and smoked a ball. And he's been doing so well. But I think Trout. Yeah, I think Trout will win.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I had them 1A, 1B, 1C, like I said, but it's kind of one of those things where like I see Mike Trout keeping it, like just keeping the consistency.
Anybody could win of those three.
Yeah, honestly, anyone could win of those three, but I would not be shocked at all if Mike Trout wins it in the slightest. And then I have like a value slight long shot pick. Tomas is gonna love this. I have Buxton, Byron Buxton.
He was a favorite like before the season started. I haven't been keeping track of what he's doing. I think he's been playing well. Yeah,
he's been playing well. He's like I would say he's probably like the offensive centerpiece of the Red Sox. So I wouldn't be shocked if he were to maybe, go off and then, but he gets injured. So I mean, I wouldn't be able to say that maybe on betting, I have it that he's written down plus 3,500. So I mean, obviously his long shot chance. But if the Red Sox
is also on the Twins.
Oh, is he not on the Red Sox?
I double checked that. I did when you said Red Sox, I wasn't sure. He's not on the Red Sox. He's on the Twins. You might be thinking of Devers or Bogarts because those guys were also.
I'm thinking of Devers.
Favored.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm thinking of Devers.
Those guys were also favored.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Devers. Regardless, though, yeah, I have Buxton. He's definitely really really good, and but he has been injured. He gets injured a lot. He has extensive injury history, so that's my fault. I can't believe I wrote the wrong team. Guessed. Yeah, but that's who I have for both MVPs. There's other awards we could talk about, but I mean they're not really too interesting. But that was definitely great. So
yeah,
who did you have
early for Cy Young? Yeah. What'd you say?
I have it written down, but I don't know enough information for to write it down. I think
the only interesting one is the NL. I don't think the AL race right now is that interesting. The NL. I think it's going to be Scherzer. I think it's kind of clear. Bueller is also pitching really well, and
Mhm.
he's one of those guys that at the end of the year he's always so good, and in the
Mhm.
postseason, so I could see him at the second half being even better than Scherzer. Right now,
Yeah.
it's pretty much clearly Scherzer, and it's only because DeGrom's hurt. Any year that DeGrom is healthy, it's DeGrom. Like last year, he was clear, and then he got hurt, and
Mhm.
then he went back to back in 18 and 19, I think, and then he didn't win it the COVID year. But any year DeGrom's healthy, it's easily him. Like I don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mike Trout. Like that would be a comparison
Yeah.
I'd make.
The
Anytime he's
only
healthy, and he's healthy.
thing about Mike Trout this year was I thought now that Shohei is there,
Mhm.
I think it's going to be similar with Trout and Shohei, where any year where they're healthy, they're going to be in like the top 5 of MVP voting.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, he's at. I like that you're saying that like Shohei's that you had him at the beginning of the season. I mean, probably everyone had him at the beginning of the season, but I mean, there's so much left in the season, and and like the
He
thing
could
is,
still come back and do
yeah,
it.
like the thing is,
He
he could,
threw great
yeah,
today, I
exactly. He
think, or
he has so
yesterday.
much time left to like get his numbers up because I mean, like on the plate, off the plate, he just has so much time left to get his production up.
Yeah, like that's like any of these guys really, but I think Trout is just like the most consistent player.
Yeah.
Like that we've seen in a while. Like he's top 5 every year basically in MVP voting. So as long as he's healthy, I think he'll win.
Yeah, that's all we had to cover. The top 3 teams. Obviously we went a little bit into the fourth. I talked about the 4 teams, and he had mentioned the Padres and the MVPs, but that's all we had to cover today. Next week I'm going to be talking about both baseball and the first round of basketball. I appreciate you, Al, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.
Of course, and I hope you guys all tune in next week. Thank you so much.